Welcome to Eve's Singularity, and this is a newer version of soloing a FOB with a rattlesnake. So you've got the fit here. Sec, just that. Now I've already warped to the FOB already. I've spawned 2 waves of reinforcements for the defense fleet. The response fleet buggered off once I worked off field, and that might be a way of dealing with the hauler when it spawns the response fleet. Just align, MJD, warp out, come back, and they'll be gone. And of course, the hauler and miners will be hiding at a safe spot, so they'll easily ignored. Okay, so once you warp, you're going to be landing on grid on top of the FOB. You don't have to worry about capacitor neuting or anything like that because you're passive. And this seems to work against 6 omens and 1 Ashimu and 1 augur. I was easily tanking this at 69% when I had this as a large shield extender. Oh, perfect. So this is great. What I'll do is that'll spawn a response fleet before I'll align to, and then warp off. Give me a sec. Oops. Close that out. Alright, let's down a bit. Okay, so he's fled, and the response fleet will show up sooner than later. Come on, where is it? Okay, here we go. No, that's the defense fleet. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, that's a lot. So we're going to take off. There are no crews, or there it is. See? That's the response fleet. Oh, weird that they took so long to show up. Anyways, so once I warp off, I can come back and I'll show you. Of course, my caps are almost dead. And that upwell sure does a lot of nuke damage. I am at one of the FOBs in a pod. Draining the capacitor takes about 12 minutes. And that's what you should do before tangling with a FOB in a solo Rattlesnake. Go dock up your Rattlesnake somewhere and just drain with a FOB. Then once it's drained, quickly get your Rattlesnake and warp to the FOB, and you should have no problems after a minute or 2. I'm sure it recharges a tiny bit while you're docking up and flying your Rattlesnake in. Okay, so we're at the gate. We're gonna just warp back. The response fleet will have warped off, and we got about 10 minutes before the hauler and miners decide to leave their safe spot. If you warp to the safe spot, they will warp once more because the response fleet is there, and the response fleet will engage you. The response fleet does not starburst; they'll burn towards you. If you can destroy them, the miners disappear. If you destroy the miners, the response fleet disappears. There's a few exceptions, but that's pretty much it. The defense fleet, however, will starburst on you, and you'll see it. And of course, I'm sure you've seen it before. They will warp to about 400 or 500, and then warp right on top of you. Okay, so no cur. You can warp away and back in the same ship, and it'll remember you and not spawn. Watch, it'll spawn. Lol. So it takes about an hour, probably around an hour. But the unfortunate thing is, I've got to really tweak this because I don't have enough damage to pause its repair, unfortunately. So as it stands, this will not. It will not deal with it. In fact, missiles, it's almost 500 DPS, and it's just not good enough. The drones might push it over. We'll see. If so, I'll definitely see if I can increase that. But yeah, it's really anemic, even with the torpedoes. So yeah. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the bestower again. Okay. Screw you, buddy. So we've got, this is max omens. So you're looking at 10. So it's absolutely gonna break here. And of course the response fleet for the hauler, fortunately, looks like it appeared again, which is just totally bizarre. Yeah, as you can see, it's gonna easily break. Yeah. They do a massive amount of damage. So yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you're faced with a massive omens and you're just not going to be able to face that many. That's the thing with the rattlesnakes. You can get a spawn that is omen heavy and it's like F, you know? Why the hell? So I don't see the response fleet, which is so bizarre. Yeah, it could be singularity. There could be some weird stuff going on. I don't know why I'm tanking it. Could it be because I'm moving? That would be the most bizarre thing ever. And if I'm moving and I'm lowering my damage, and what's the range on this? 17 kilometers. Well, we can't get too far. But yeah, we could potentially get range on this and we could destroy. This is omen heavy. There's no augers. When it's omen heavy, there's usually just one auger or 0. And that way you can get rid of, say, the Purger that might have spawned. Using their very vulnerable to explosive and kinetic Purgers. The omens are vulnerable to EM and thermal mostly. No EM mostly. Yeah, just like the arbitrators. The augers. The arbitrators have a thermal hole, so do the Ashimus. Ashimus are very nasty if you depend on capacitor. Sometimes you get 3 of them on field. But if there's 3 of them, there's less of the omens, so... But they do quite a bit of damage, too. So, alright. So, omens do... It's pretty funny. Mostly EM, and then a bit of thermal. As you can see, my resists are pretty much matching that. And I'm actually stunned beyond words. That's why I haven't talked about it. I'm tanking this, which doesn't seem possible. I'm going to cut my speed because I don't want to get out of range. I'm not breaking its bloody repair. I've got to add more damage. I will attempt to launch. Hello? Sometimes I just can't get my drone window up. We'll do... I think infiltrators are doing the most damage. So let's launch that and get those attacking. And see if I can get it above 500. And hope 500 will... Come on, guys. It's singularity. It's being weird. Alright. So... if it drops to 33, we know it's going to break eventually. We've got a plateau between 33% and 20% where we've got peak recharge. It's not 25%, it's a plateau. And in that space, if we go below that, we know we're broken. As soon as it hits 35, you know you're getting like exactly close to peak. So yeah, if it hits 33, you know there's a problem. But I'm stopped and I'm tanking it, which when there was 11 omens, it broke me quite quickly, but I'm tanking 10 omens at peak recharge of 11,000. 1,100, sorry. Which is very odd. I've got Nirvana, and I have all these modules, and is it paused? Unfortunately, I don't think so. Oh, it is. Okay, well, if you're above 500 DPS, bam, you paused it. That's hilarious. So, but it's going to take forever. And when you're reloading, it'll unpause. And depending on how quickly it takes you to reload and how many reloads you have to do to kill it, yeah. So I don't have any cures, I don't have augurs, and I don't have any Ashimus. And if any of those were on the field, I'd have less omens. So apparently, unless I go 100% omens, I can't be broken. I know if I go 11 omens, I'll be broken. If the hauler shows up and the response fleet spawns, then I might get pushed over, because those punishers actually do a lot of damage, and you usually get about 3 or 4 of them in the response fleet. Sometimes the response fleet, which again doesn't starburst, will if you're not remote repping, will attack drones occasionally, and might not be just frigates. It could be omens and augurs. It could be battleships and crews. Yeah, it's really every FOB is different. Seriously. So you could be facing a world of trouble, and you'd need to align out, press your MJD, and then because you're usually webbed, you'll land after the MGD at the speed you left at, and it's usually because you're webbed, you'll need to pick up speed in order to warp. So cross your fingers, make sure you're aligned to the same thing you're aligned to, warp as soon as you get to 75%, and hopefully the crews don't starburst right on top of you. Now remember, if say the response fleet showed up and I MJD'd, the response fleet would be burning towards me, and so I'd easily be able to get away without worrying about starbursting. So, well, you get the omens on you, but they don't have points, so yay. How much to pack into this? The spawn range, if you have people on grid, get them past 1,500 kilometers, because otherwise anything on grid will aggro you randomly. And yeah, you don't want non-combat getting starbursted on. If they're closer than 365, they start spawning their own defense fleet wave. Usually it's not this large. It's usually just 1 or 2 things that show up just to add on. Sometimes. The new range is about 267-ish kilometers. So if you've got something that can target up to 300 and you can hit with missiles up to 300, yeah, it's definitely doable to whip around there at max MWD speed and you know, about 5,000, and you won't be caught by the starbursting crews, and you just cruise around with your team and just blap cruise missiles at it. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Another is in your face. Remember, if you warp and if you're on grid and you're watching this from more than 1,500 kilometers and you want to warp into help, as soon as you initiate warp, you initiate the reinforcement wave timer, and they'll spawn a reinforcement wave. I'm not sure if you can cancel that warp. and they'll still appear. I haven't tested that yet, but I do seem to notice as soon as you initiate that warp, you're going to get some reinforcements. I don't know exactly how it works, if you can trigger that by just hitting warp and canceling right away. No, I'm not sure. So I can't verify that yet. Of course, I've got a huge laundry list of stuff to test. So yeah. Wow, this is amazing. So yeah, I'm tanking 10 omens. Crazed. I'm not sure if that means they're doing 100 DPS each. I thought they were doing 800 DPS each. Actually, they might be actually. I tested it once. I don't think I did it thoroughly, but it was a ballpark figure. It was 800 depends on 0 resistances. So take that as you will. I don't do math, but yeah, I believe it's around 800 DPS. Assuming, you know, you've got polarized. I think I tested with polarized once. What I would love to do is eliminate all but one omen and just have something with 800 hit points per second recharge with 0 resists and go in and see what happens to that soul surviving omen on field. Of course, I'd kill the FOB first. Oops. Silly me. So yeah, how much? What's its hull? It's about 91%. We'll see how much percentage I get with one reload of the torps, and then we can extrapolate how long it'll take to kill it. And of course, by the time we kill it, the hauler's hauler will show up eventually, and so you'll get that on top of that. So yeah, they might go after your drones, which will mean you will have to pull your drones, and if they have inquisitors with them, they'll rep anything you try to shoot at, so you'll have to pull your drones, and then you'll lose that extra. So if we can push it that I need the MJD. I absolutely 100% need the MJD. I've got all the skills I can possibly have within reason. I need to increase my damage. That would probably entail... it would probably entail a pyro... Forget it. Pyro Lancia? Pyro-Lancia... blah, 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 blah. I'm assuming... ouch, those are expensive. Owie, even those are expensive. Frickin' hell. 3% on 490. It should push us above, of course. 1.03. You'd be surprised what a little percentage does. It's quite amazing. Okay, so that's above 500. So we take the drug for 6 million. We'd get 30 million back, so it'll be cost effective. This is not a cost effective way of profiting from this, of course, but if you're a solo player with an upwell and you're annoyed by the notifications, you could have a very satisfying time taking this out, but you need a Pyro-Lancia for sure. And all these implants, yeah. And you could add that. Yeah, let's be sure I can add the Pyro-Lancia to that. Let's open that up again. Screw it. Let's do info and add, I don't know, 5. Sounds good. Because you've got a king's ransom of rage torpedoes in there in the first place. Alright, so 91 damage. I've got the drones, of course, on it. So this is assuming we're calculating for the drug, too. So this is is close to what the drug would do, I guess. Actually, it wouldn't. I'm doing a bit more. But we're going to ballpark it, assuming we can get enough damage on, and probably use hammerheads. Or maybe even do a combination of the ogre, but yeah, having the ogre and then the response fleet shows up, you might lose the ogre, so let's go with hammerheads and increase the damage as much as we can before the those damn things show up. Okay, 87, so that's 4% so far. I'm assuming we'll get maybe 8% out of it. You could probably do it exactly. Tributes, it's got a 20%, I believe. Oh, it's got 0%. What the hell? Maybe I was thinking of actual FOBs. I mean, actual upwells. Are upwells, not a FOB. Okay, so 0% resist. Great. Shield. So 3 million. Okay, 3 million. Divided by 500 per second, right? Is 6,000 divided by 60 equals, okay, 100. So 100 minutes, all told. That's pretty crazy. So 100 minutes to kill it. Plus reloading, I'm assuming that'll bring it to, what, 20 more minutes? You know? So... yeah, it's pretty scary. It'll be, when you're reloading, it'll be repairing, so it'll be pretty close. I'm sure you'll do fine, but yeah, there's little wiggle room there. Your cap's stable. It's still, no, it's stopped cap draining. It's been at least 12 minutes. So yeah, and you might be able to speed it up too by praying you don't get the hauler. Say you've got to drain the cap, and say if you had an alt and you use the alt in a pod to drain the cap, you could use your combat probes on your rattlesnake to find the hauler if you wanted to while you were waiting. Easiest thing to do is use your alt, find a system with a FOB, go find out where the, in a pod, go find out where the hauler, the miners are, then warp to the FOB. Then what you do is you remember what belt that was and just warp your rattlesnake there. And the response fleet will show up. And typically you should be able to take them out using... using... do I have the Inquisitor? I don't have the Inquisitor there. But they should be, hopefully, all matching. Let's see. Omen, Career, Battle, Executioner, Crucifier. They look exactly alike, right? So the Inquisitor should have the same. So... ouch. They're pretty much... ow. Jesus. So yeah, they've got 66 across the board. So... ugh. I would recommend Acolytes. Yeah, Acolytes, you might not be able to actually break. Yeah, you might not be able to break the, yeah. You might not be able to break the Logi just using 5 Acolytes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, you can... look at that. I think that's pretty good. Updated. Okay, where are we at now? Oh, so sorry. So 83. So 90. So yeah, about 8%. 8% per. So yeah, around 100 minutes, ish. Wow, this is fun. Yeah, 32. What's going on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right. Kind of scary, but yeah, as long as it doesn't. It's 31. 30. I haven't died yet, so I don't know what the hell. Yeah, it looks nigh on perfect for 10 omens. Crazed. Yeah, I wish I knew more about math and be able to explain, you know, their ability to do damage on you with that percentage and what kind of, I don't even know what damage they're doing. I'm sure we can extrapolate from these numbers right here that have been flowing across the screen for quite a while. Yeah. There we go. There's Pyrolantia. Yeah, you could get above 500, pause it, and then you could pull your drones if needed, and you wouldn't pause the you wouldn't unpause the repair. So that's pretty cool. Of course, you'd have to remember to reload, or else you'll give it time to repair even more. And yeah, you could actually have problems. Not be able to stop it before it repairs completely, because once it runs down to 0 on that time, it goes to 100% repaired. It's not passively repairing right now. There's a timer, so that's how it works. Yeah. Now, of course, since you've got this hardly ever happens, you know, that you usually have 2 augers, which makes it impossible to kill anything. But if you don't have, you could just cut down the DPS, so by the time the hauler gets there, hopefully later and sooner, you could have wiped, because they only have passive tank, you could, you know, focus your fire on the omens, get the omens down. And then once 1 or 2 of them are dead, you're down to 8 omens, and you can deal with, say, 4 punishers if they show up, you know? I don't know exactly how much damage they do, but they do a lot if you ever try to tackle them on one of your Upwells, Aster Houses, or Athenors. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm really happy it works. I would be extremely hesitant to roll this out on Tranquility, but yeah, it works. There's only a few issues when you're on Tranquility. If somebody YOLOs in on you without, you know, either knowing or, but there's hardly any trolls that do it. I've been bumped like once, and if somebody warps a team on you and goes, "Oh God, too many," and warps out, if you're pointed and you see them warp in, you need to align calmly MJD, and then once you're up to 75, warp out, because they will spawn probably a lot more than you can handle, and then you lose your ship, which would be annoying because you probably spent at least half an hour plinking at this thing, and you almost got it, and these yahoos come in and ruin your day. But that is a rare thing. I've never had that happen once, and I've only had the bumper happen after I destroyed the FOB, and I still had rats and stuff on the field. Typically, if you're lucky, you will get the low spawn, which is a few curves, a couple of battleships, and probably a couple of augers. But the augers won't rep the curves. They will stick with the sniping battleships, and you can deal with the curves easily. That's the light spawn. That's when you get lucky. This is the... I'm really happy that this happened because this is the full omen spread that you'll sometimes get. And which can be quite scary. I think you're gonna have to go to the drug if you dick around with any more modules, which I already did just to shove this in. And if you go less than this, because they're already dipping into 33, 32, you've seen it happen a couple of times, you could be in serious trouble very quickly if you get the full omen spread. But of course you've got the MGD. But yeah, use the drug. Don't take off any more modules or dick around or anything like that. You need all those implants. If you were rich enough, I'm sure you could afford the high grades and the shield management 706 and the shield operation 906 and rapid launch, you know, just idiotic levels of bling that I don't even dream of. But yeah, you could probably, but at that point, you have the money. Why don't you just buy the drugs and not screw with the fit? You know, go what's tried and true. If you've got tons of money, go with the frickin' drugs. For Christ's sake. And then you're above what it needs to stop it from repairing, and you're good. I'll just wait till we're done with this so I can get a really good, now I think we were at 83 when I started firing again for hull on this sucker. So, yeah, we'll mark it by that. So, reload time is rate of fire almost every 10 seconds. Reload time 10 seconds. Okay, just like a cap, a heavy cap booster. Okay. 3, 2, 29. I saw 29. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Yeah, so there's a plateau. So at 33 to 29, you got peak recharge. So if you dip below 25, yeah, you know you're in trouble. 1. All right, let that last impact hit. Should do it. And reloading. What do we get to? We got to 75. So I went down by 8. Yeah, okay, so it's 8% hull. Yeah, 8 or 7% hull. But yeah, if you had hammerheads out there too, you'd probably get more. So yeah, let's go with 8. And yeah, 100 minutes to do it, plus so you got 40 rage. Was that 100 minutes or 100 missiles? No, I think it was 100 minutes because we were going by, I don't know what we were going by. I'm gonna have to do the math again. All right. I hate my calculator. Right, freaking hell. All right. So I'm doing, when I get to use the drug, I'll be at 503, or did it say 500? Let's see, 500. Okay, so 500. And I need to, right, I was looking at, nope, excuse me. Okay, so 3 million, sorry about this, I suck. Okay, so 3 million, and we were doing it per seconds. Yeah, well, it was 100 seconds, so divided by 500. equals, and then, yeah, okay, so it was 100 seconds. Okay, 100 minutes. And that would mean, okay, I've got 40 times 9.36 equals, oh wait, could probably do it the simple way, but you know me, I'm always complicated. So one salvo including reload, whoops, 9.63 times 40 equals plus 10. So that's with reload. So, okay, so 400 seconds. 400 seconds divided by 60 is, okay, so that is what we divide that by to give us, okay, so 15 reloads. So that's going to use 15 reloads. So it's going to have 15 times 10 seconds. I'll say you misclicked a couple times, so 200. So 200 seconds divided by 60 equals, so it's gonna, oh, okay, it's only gonna allow 5 minutes if you screw it up a bit to repair. So that's fine. There's absolutely no worries. I thought there was a lot more lost time to reload, but 15 volley or 15 ammo bays worth. Yeah, I think you're fine. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I haven't learned much new. There are a few nuances, but if you're a solo player, it's probably going to be not applicable to you. Yeah, this is quite an expensive blingy fit. I would be worried about it. It would take a few tornadoes to take you down, but yeah, it's something to be concerned about, especially if you're flitting around to FOBs left, right, and center. You could run into, you know, trouble. So do be careful. Yeah, it would be something I'd keep at your upwell just to deal with annoyance notifications, because it's not going to, if you're going around hunting FOBs for this purpose, it's going to take frickin' forever, like almost 2 hours, you know, and you're going to have to deal with travel time and all this. I'd really rather suggest you stick in one place. Only use this as a desperate measure if nobody's coming around to blap your FOB, you know. If you're sick and tired of the notifications and want to get rid of it, 2 hours of, you know, just sitting around making sure nobody warps in on you and spawns more stuff, you should deal with it. This is the maximum that's going to happen to you. I don't know why I failed before. It might have been because I had something else on the field that spawned more omens. Like you saw, if there was 11 omens and something else, my tank is broken. So you're right on the knife's edge here, but you should be okay. Yeah. And if you're trapped, now we have the MJD, so it's no big deal. Do not have the MJD. Do not leave dock without it. Critical you have that. So because every FOB is different, and I tell you that the number of times I've sweat when doing FOB still is pretty much a quarter of the time, because something weird happens and you didn't expect it. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so I think I beat that one to death. So yeah, it's 100% possible. I'll link everything in the description for you. And good luck. I did have an Ishtar fit to deal with it solo. You got to remember though that you've got to deal with a hauler. Get the hauler dead, so your drones don't get attacked. Yeah, kill a hauler dead. It won't spawn, I believe, until next downtime. It's the safest way to do it, especially if you're going to be spending all this time dealing with this stuff. So kill a hauler dead. The best way to do it is get in a fast stabber or omen, or oversized micro-warp drive, or anything that goes really quick. You won't need to you just need to get range from the response fleet before it starts shooting at you. If you get outside of its webbing and because it'll work right on top of you, so you got to boot it out of there as quick as possible on micro-warp drive, preferably oversized, and get to about 500 from the belt and just orbit one of the asteroids, and then you can use the combat probe on, say, anything really. You could use the Rattlesnake to do it. Combat probe down the hauler, which is the easiest to combat probe down, warp to it and blap it and the miners, and then just warp your alt away from the response fleet. They'll despawn. You won't get another hauler. You'll be safe. So then you can warp in and be certain that you won't get the damn hauler spawning the response fleet on you, which sometimes has omens. So that would be, especially if you go away for a quick AFK for 30 seconds and yeah. All right. I think that's about it. Yeah, I could yap for another 15 minutes, but my time would be up. Yeah, the FOB. Yeah, I'll ignore it because there's so many things I've learned while using a remote repping battleship team that is completely not applicable to this situation. So yeah, this is a wise investment. The Ishtar would be a bit more exciting, and I haven't tested it yet. But yeah, you definitely need to kill the hauler and the response fleet, so you don't get your drones attacked. I'm pretty sure the defense fleet won't go against drones. They haven't. So I'm assuming it's only the response fleet that likes to nibble if you give it a chance. All right.